Hello children, how are you doing today? Okay, I hope you'll be wondering why I have all these things here in class today. It is because of the topic we'll be treating this morning, and the subject says, the subject is home economics, and the topic is basic sewing processes, because it's a continuation from last week's topic. And we'll be looking at the edge finishes. Last week we talked about the seam finishes, and I told us that the seam finishes is all about knitting the raw surface of fabric. It is a basic process of knitting any fabric you have for it to look neat and presentable. Okay, so what is edge finishing? This is the process of knitting the raw edge of a fabric. This process includes the pinking, overcasting, the edge stitching, the zigzag, and so on and so forth. There are many of them which we discussed last week. And the uses. What are the edge finish used for? Let's look at the uses. We said number one, it is used to secure the edge of the fabric from fraying. For example, I have different samples of fabric here. This is one of them. This kind of fabric doesn't fray. Last week I told us that fray means when the thread is coming out from the fabric. This kind of material, you can find out that it doesn't fray. It remains like this. Or you can look at the next fabric. You find that I can't sew a cloth and leave it like this. The neckline or the down of the clothes. It can't be like it because the material fray easily. Because which means you won't use the material for long. Now, what are we doing with the finishing? You can either use the bias, just as we said that it secures the fabric. How does it secure the fabric? Now look at what I'm going to do. I have my material here. Now it is also used to beautify the fabric. What I do is, for me to give this material a professional look, I can take the bias. This is called the bias. I will take it to run around the edge of the material. You see the way it is? By the time you run it round, you see how beautiful it looks like. So it's called the finishing. Now number two, we said it decorates the edge of the fabric. You can either use the bias or whatever you want to use. This is called the hemming gum. For example, if I want to use a hemming gum for a fabric such as this, I have to put the hemming gum on the wrong surface of the fabric. Maybe my line folding is 1 inch. What I do is to measure the 1 inch. I have to use my tape and measure 1 inch. This is the 1 inch here. So which means my folding will be 1 inch, and this is what I have here. This is the 1 inch. And the next thing is to take the hemming gum. Here's the hemming gum, and by then my iron is on. I have to put the hemming gum there and take the hot iron and press on it for it to lap very well. Now you can see how the right surface of the fabric will look like. You see how neat it is, and it has given it a professional look. Number three is to knitting the edge of the fabric, which I just explained. So that is the use of the edge finishing to make the material to look more beautiful. You can see this cloth I have here. I also use a fabric to do the edge finishing on the neck line. Okay, so let's look at factors to consider in choosing an edge finish. Number one, you have to consider the purpose of the finishing. What is your purpose? How do you want the material to look like? Now, in the case of finishing, some finishing can be used as a form of decoration. For example, if I have the bias, maybe I want the neckline or the hand or the down of the clothes to look more attractive. I need to use any other finishing material, just like the bias. By the time I use it to run the edge, it has changed the look of the fabric. You can see how beautiful it looks like. Number two is the type of fabric to be finish. Now there are some fabric that frays a lot, which I have the sample here. So you use the bias or any other finishing material you want on the neckline, the hand, or the down of the cloth. You use the finishing in order for that cloth to last long, for it not to fray. And the third one is the shape of the edge to be finished. For example, if I have a curved edge, now this is an example of a curved edge. This is a cycle form. And what do? I don't have to leave this fabric like this. What do? I need to take the bias as well to finish the edge. Okay, that will be all for now. Feel free to send in your question if you have any question. Bye.